Welcome back to The Good Talk, the show where we discuss what's hot, what's grot, and everything in between in the wide world of Warhammer. I am joined, of course, by my amazing co-host, Bridger Hahn. How you doing, Bridger?
Oh, I'm doing great.
Yeah?
That was a really fun game.
We had an amazing game between the forces of the Leagues of Votann and the Nurgle Demons. We won't spoil it, but it was a great game. Definitely check it out, and we'll talk more about the Votann in today's episode. But first, our producer for the evening is the amazing.
Oh, not a...
The amazing.
You can come up with only one adjective.
No, so the thing is, I have this thing where like people, it sounds like you're supposed to say inimicable, and like the amazing, the inimicable. But
That is what I was thinking.
But it's actually a bad thing.
Oh.
It's like not a good thing
It's like
to say.
diminutive.
Diminutive. Diminutive is not inherently bad. It just means
Makes
small.
you small.
Yeah.
We're
The
making you
incredible, intelligent, most educated Titan, Doc Mel. What's up, Mel? In case you couldn't tell, Doc
The
Mel.
implication of small is generally not good.
Well, I think we need to rethink our culture.
Look,
Okay.
lots of human. Look, up good, down bad.
Yeah.
Big good, small bad.
Wow.
Green good, red bad.
I think it's very diminutively minded of them to think that way.
Well, now you're
So now
using
you're
it to be
saying
bad.
that I'm diminutively minded?
No! He's saying
Culture.
all of humanity is diminutively
I'm
minded.
just saying the whole human race is wrong. That's all I'm saying. Thank you so much for joining us. Of course, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. We much appreciate it. Tonight, we're here to talk about the Metawatch article that came out today, as of time of recording, and of course, the accompanying 18-minute video.
Video essay, arguably.
Video essay. Look, it's interesting. Let's just get into it, yeah?
Let's just go right into it.
We'll take questions from everybody during and after. If you have any super chats, send them in. It's a great way to support the channel, and we're happy to help with our expertise. Let's take a look at the results of Metawatch. Very interesting. So last time we saw this, there was a heck of a lot more red.
Yeah. And red means...
Right. Red means you're out of what Games Workshop calls the Goldilocks zone.
Right.
They're looking for armies to be between a 45 and a 55% win rate. Obviously, as close as you can get to 50 is ideal, but within that 10%, they're generally happy. So before we had, I think there were more armies outside of that Goldilocks zone than were in. They had a very, very aggressive balanced data slate, big points changes, big fundamental changes to armies, and here we are with just 3 armies outside of the Goldilocks zone, 2 above, 1 below. Job done.
Job's done. Well, the job's not done, which is kind of what Stu said in part in that very long interview, was they're always striving to keep up with the changes. As they make changes, that's going to have a cascade or a butterfly effect, and they want to stay on top of it and keep... They mentioned trying to surgically change things because they want to minimize this cascade effect. So they're always working on it. They're always tuning, keeping things fresh.
Yeah, exactly. Question from Mel?
Yes, excellent question from chat. Is this data based off of the data since the balanced data slate, or is it all of 10th?
They cited a few specific events that this is from, right?
Okay, so it would be
This is
from the
from,
changes.
like,
So it's not
Atlanta.
counting for like...
No, it's not including all the things before their changes.
Right.
Yeah. Otherwise, this would be totally invalid, right?
Exactly.
You're diminishing it. No. So it's not including that. However, it is also not, I don't think, including. Oh, I guess it would include because Tampa we had Space Marines. Anyways, we have the Space Marines book that just came out.
Doubt they had Space Marines at Tampa.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think any major event would have rules cut off.
No, this weekend is SoCal, and they're allowing Space Marines now because it's a week beyond a week later, whatever. But yeah, they wouldn't have had them at Tampa.
Oh, they have a 1 week rules cut off?
Something like that.
That's
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. So all this to say, it's probably going to change very soon with Space Marines.
Yeah.
We have some thoughts on that.
They're going to go up. Space Marine stock's going up.
Stonks way up.
Orc stonk's way down.
I think Orc stonks are going to go down pretty fast, honestly. Like, they're obviously in a very good spot right now, partially due to just lots of great MSU, lots of trucks. The armies that are at the top here, Duari, Leagues of Votann, even Chaos Space Marines, they love to kill big, tough, chunky units.
They love to kill Space Marines.
And
all these factions at the top, except for orcs,
yeah,
I think will get even better when we see an increased play percentage of Space Marines.
Yes, Armor Contempt across the board is going to be very rough for them. I don't think they're going to be in a terrible spot, but I do think it's going to go down.
I think Eldari go up.
With the increase in Space Marines?
Yeah, they don't care about Armor Contempt.
They
have
love
Dev
killing
Wounds
Space Marines.
and AP5.
Yeah.
They're like, cool, Armor Contempt me. You still don't get saved.
Yeah.
You know what? You have 8-ups. We don't care. And I think to some extent, Leagues of Votann, they're not the same as Eldar.
Yeah.
Eldar make it so you don't get to save either Dev Wounds or AP 5. Why is that in the game?
Yeah.
Leagues of Votann have a pretty, pretty conservative AP. They're like a normal faction, but they throw so many dice. They don't really care what you're going to fail your 2-ups.
It's a great way to do it, right? And they have enough AP to make it matter just a little bit, to tweak the scales. Funny, Eldar, he's still at 57%. Still too powerful.
Yeah.
Which doesn't super surprise me, honestly.
No.
There's been, and I will say, to GW's credit, they have been aggressive on these changes, and I actually stand by pretty much everything they've done. So
yeah,
that feels good. Orcs we'll keep an eye on. Votann, I think we'll keep an eye on. But I think overall, and they kind of use this poster child in the article. They cite the sisters list that won Tampa. This is the Adeptus Sororitas that beat John Lennon, Jack Harpster, Quentin Johnson, amazing players from Art of War, and it beat all of them in succession.
Wow.
And I think that was well played by a great player. We're seeing sister stonks are way up.
Wow.
Right now they're only showing 49%, and I think that's a more true story. Frankly, I think sisters have gone up. None of their fundamental rules have changed.
There's just more of them.
There's more of them, and I think the meta has fell into them better. Tyranids, first book to get a codex, relatively strong. Sisters love them, especially with their big castigators and things like that. The things that sisters are running work well into the current meta. So I think keep an eye out on sisters, because I think they're also very prone to as armies get better or worse around them.
Right.
I think that's what they've fallen into relative success. Still only 49%, so pretty balanced. But it's interesting, right?
Yeah, I would not have expected pretty much anything you just said.
Yeah.
All of it.
I can see you're still processing
pertaining
it.
to sisters.
Yeah. And it's only certain types of sisters lists, right? It's not like there's a ton of variety, which is not the case for the Space Marines we're going to see.
Right.
I think we're going to see a lot of variety there. So we've got to think about the health of that too.
You want to talk about the bottom?
Let's talk about the bottom.
Are we going to get down to how are Drukhari this far down?
This does surprise me.
Their output is nutso butso.
Yeah, it's a blistering. Maybe the way our Drukhari games have gone is they have blistering firepower in the early game. It seems like they're going to table their opponent. They kind of run out of steam. They're kind of fragile, and they do kind of run out of units, even though they have a lot. So I guess it's just that on a larger scale. I feel I'm shocked that it's this low.
But that play pattern doesn't add up to me. Of what is that? 41%?
44. Well,
we're blind. We can't. The bottom number.
44%.
Drukhari's 44%.
Yeah.
Yeah, that play pattern of blistering firepower and then in some games run out of steam.
Yeah.
Sounds to me like a 52%.
Yeah, even 50.
If it was
somewhere close.
whelming firepower that often runs out of steam.
Right.
Now I see a 44.
Right.
Because now it's on a good day, they win slightly most of their games. But on most days, it's a coin toss that they're not doing great on. Right? This doesn't... From my experience, everything they have always hits and is AP 5. That's my experience of Drukhari.
That's fair. I think places where they can suffer, I don't know actually.
If you bum rush them,
that's really, really bad for
get
them.
a bunch of charges on them,
They're mega taggable.
they're going to crumple.
Yeah.
And I understand that. Most armies in the game right now are not playing an aggressive melee game.
I don't know. I mean, Chaos Mix, I don't know. Maybe someone in chat can explain this to us. We're definitely not saying that this information is wrong, but we're very confused why it is the way it is. And we'd love to hear from Drukhari players, maybe. What have your experiences have been? Let us know in the comments or in chat. That's baffling.
We're in no way questioning the validity of the data. Yeah. We're more trying to understand and interpret, what is wrong with Drukhari right now? Why? Because that's what we're trying to do with all these armies. Why are they good? Why are they bad? Why are they happy where they are? Yeah. I was surprised to hear the sisters are in a good spot. Because that's never been my experience with sisters. We're trying to break down this data and understand and explain, in the cases where we have knowledge, why these are the way they are. Yeah. For example, Custodes. See, I can give you
Yeah.
a breakdance on custodies.
I'll give credit where credit's due.
Yeah.
You said you were very upset with the balanced data slate. You said they done my boys too dirty. It's too far. And I said, Bridger, calm down. Calm down,
wolf.
Bridger.
I get it. I cried wolf.
down.
I cry wolf on custodies a lot.
Every time there's a change, you cry.
The sky is falling,
Wolf.
okay?
But this time you were right. They did hit them too hard. 46, not great. It's not great.
And I did, I think, have pretty solid foundational reasoning on why I thought that the changes were not good.
Yeah.
The custodies have a few core identities. As if all these factions have core identities, but the custodies' core identities have always fit into the game in a strange way. And they've always struggled to balance them because these core identities are consistent hitting and wounding.
Yeah.
Like, this is a faction that is not really supposed to miss and not really supposed to fail to wound.
Yeah.
Really durable. When you put those together, that's a tough...
That's a winning combo right there.
Yeah. If you tell me I have a faction that's hard to kill and it always hits and it always wounds, well, that sounds like the best faction in the game. So the way they balance it is you don't get a lot of them, or they have these weird weaknesses.
Yep.
The way this manifested in 10th was their durability and their output, their offensive output, was both coming from the fact that you could have 10 guys in a squad.
Yes.
Their whole identity was, here's 10 guys and they're going to beat you up. And you can try to stop them, but there's 10 of them.
Yeah.
Okay, you can pick off a few, but they're very tough and they're going to get to you. And if you try to find ways around it, you got mortal wounds, they don't care. You got devastating, that's mortal wounds, they don't care. But they got hit, the faction sort of had its identity taken away. They're no longer really that durable. Wardens are pretty tough, as we saw in the last Custodies game.
Yeah.
Not for their points. If you compare them to any other tough unit in the game, they're really not that tough.
Yeah. And they have a lot of situations in which they're actually very vulnerable now.
Right. Because they got hit on the other side with this devastating wounds change,
Yep.
where, I mean, how many sources of mortal wounds are there really in the game anymore? Psychic is mostly not mortal wounds anymore.
No, it's devastating if ever.
And devastating was the large source of mortal wounds in 10th. So, like, what is their faction rule now? It doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
So they lost a lot of their durability. They lost a lot of their output. It was a faction designed around, specifically in 10th, it was a faction designed around expensive characters that give buffs that are worth it when you have 10 guys. Now you don't have 10 guys.
Yeah, and
And
strats.
enhancements and strats that are expensive when you don't have 10 guys. And then also they made it so that you can't have them free anymore. So they just got hit on every side. I totally understand why they're sub 40 or sub 50% win rate.
Yeah.
There are some ideas from chat on Drukhari.
Yeah,
let's hear it.
Tell us.
Jonathan Tucker says Drukhari vehicles did not get the vehicle durability buff. They're almost the same from
True.
9th to 10th.
That's true.
And also, let's see, the Digilante says they're just so fast across the board. They win all the games they go first and get shot to death otherwise.
Right.
That would indicate a 50% win rate, though, right? They
is
should
true.
go first half the time.
That is true.
We've seen dice.
I think we could compare a Ravager to a Gladiator Lancer, and maybe that'll give us a perspective because
Perhaps, yeah. Well, Ravagers are quite good. They also
They're
did go up
good.
in points though.
they're good. No,
Which is hilarious.
but that's I think why this is such a compelling comparison.
Yeah.
Is that the Ravager might be the best vehicle in their codex. I think a Gladiator Lancer might still be better.
yeah, that's fair.
So a Ravager has to spend a limited resource to reroll hits, which is amazing.
The buff is amazing.
The buff is that's a great buff, but it costs them a resource. Lancer just rerolls hits, or rerolls a hit,
Which is generally enough.
and you have oath, so you're probably rerolling hits.
Yeah, exactly.
Then you reroll a wound on a Lancer, which a Ravager does not get to do.
Yeah.
They both have AP a billion. The AP is to the point where it doesn't matter. You have an invuln and you're dead.
Yep.
And they both have absurd damage, D6 plus 2 on both, right?
No, the Lancer +3.
Okay. And the Lancer can reroll the damage. So a Ravager gets 3 shots, a Lancer gets 2, but a Lancer has more consistency wounding and dealing damage.
Yeah.
And then a Lancer's way more durable,
It also has a bunch of other guns.
right? And this is just a Space Marine. I mean, it's probably the best Space Marine vehicle, but Space Marines aren't like known for their amazing vehicles.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think that might give us some context on like the best Drukhari tank is worse than the best Space Marine tank.
I know, right? And it's funny because, like I said, they got an increase on the Ravager, but I would argue that the reason the Ravager got an increase was because of the dang Eldari taking them in with their armies.
Stupid.
So they should have changed that a different way, frankly. Like, they don't get to use fate dice, clearly, and frankly, just increase the... I have a separate points cost for Eldari alloyment or something, I don't know. They used to do that with Incubi. If you want to have Incubi in Ynnari, they cost more points, an exorbitant amount of points. So, yeah, no, it's fair. I think that's a great point, honestly, chat. We can see Death Guard squarely in the middle, which makes sense. We've been seeing them improve. Gene Stealer Colts down to 49. I will make my one complaint about them.
Okay.
The competitive Gene Stealer lists right now all look the same, and they're incredibly, incredibly boring. It is running like 6 to 7 20-mans.
Yep.
All the flavor's gone.
I expected them to be lower, to be honest.
Yeah.
Those nerfs were aggressive.
It was rough, and it really messes the internal balance.
Right.
Whereas before, although they were too strong, you were seeing a few different ideas of lists. So, bummer. I'm surprised Dark Angels is so low, 48%. But again, all Space Marines are going to change.
This
so
is
maybe it's not worth
pre-Space.
talking about.
Yeah, this is before the Space Marine change.
Tau, very, very high up there. I love the Tau changes. Tau feel like an actual army. And they didn't really need any rules changes to make them feel playable, because their new ability to have like spotters is actually solved by having points to actually have spotters. So go
Imagine
figure.
that.
Crazy. Like before it was so exorbitant. It's like, okay, you got all the shooting units, but none of the spotters.
Yeah.
And another personal one for me, Demons at 51%. Checks out. And the Demon lists, they just look different. But 50 is good.
Yeah.
So, overall, this is good, right? I think 10th edition has been very polarizing. We've all had different opinions about it. And we're all wary and all excited and nervous at the same time.
I think the factions, looking at this and thinking about factions that I would want to see get a codex soon, I think AdMech, I want to see them, and they are getting a codex.
Yeah.
Kind of Blood Angels. Like, I don't know how much a codex is going to fix. I think let's wait and see on Blood Angels, because the Space Marine codex might just fix them. Guard.
Oh, Guard.
Guard need a codex, man.
Where are they?
They're towards the bottom.
46. Right next to Grey Knights, who I think also need a book.
Yeah, because they're not going to benefit from the Space Marine changes.
No.
Which is funny to me. Like, the lines they've drawn on who's a Space Marine and who's not.
I know.
Like, you're telling me a Wolfen is a Space Marine? He's a Space Marine and Grey Knights aren't? Like, I don't...
Grey Knights made that decision for themselves.
They murdered our Wolfen anyways.
The Wolfen is a wolf man. What decision did he make? He chose to be a Space
They
Marine.
still follow the Codex, kind of.
No, they don't.
They actually hate the Codex Astartes.
Yeah. So it's a little weird to me that they don't get any of this.
So what you're saying is we should get a Space Wolf book. I get it. I'm on board.
Yeah. There we go.
I think the new Space Marine book's quite good for Space Wolves.
It actually is. It's quite spicy. Yeah, those are ones for sure. AdMech, again, it's funny because you mentioned it. They're at 50%, which sounds good. But again, the types of things that are good and strong are not necessarily things you want to see. And the variety in the list is not very big.
It's bland. It
very
needs
bland.
some spice.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to have to know how Go-Go Gadget plays.
Oh, I know.
Stilts
McGee.
I have some news. I don't know if it's good or bad, but he's just going to stand in the corner.
I know.
And be lone op. One model.
I know. You're reading the article and you're like, okay, it's like a 3 damage sniper. Who cares? He has this other thing. Who cares? Oh, he's lone op. Okay, well, he'll be in every list now.
And even if he's not a character, especially if he's not a character,
Oh, especially then.
he stands in the corner. He does signals.
Oh, yeah.
I'll bet you could. You'll just reserve him, and then he'll just walk on. You'll have 3 of them.
It all comes down to points. But traditionally, like, if a character has lone op, if a unit has lone op, you will take them.
Yeah.
It's the best rule in 10th edition.
And they don't put it on expensive stuff.
No, they don't.
They put it on like,
Yeah.
it's like a 50 point. It's a guy on stilts. How much
Yeah.
do you really want for a guy on stilts?
Yeah, exactly. Kind of funny he has lone op, though. Like, he's, like, literally high up.
And stealth.
And
He
stuff.
made himself stand out basically as much as you can when
He
you're that size.
doesn't move. If you don't move, they can't see you.
Vision is based on
so
movement.
thin. He turns sideways. We have not seen
gone.
a side picture of this model yet.
He's gone.
He's
turns-
2D.
That's it. He's gone. Everyone's like, oh.
Stiff breeze, that man is just soaring into the distance.
Yeah. He like turns sideways, and then the breeze comes along. He's like, oh.
They actually gave him fly because of that.
Yeah. But he scatters. Look, that's where the game is. Overall, good job, GW. It's paying off. We're moving in the right direction. We are also, as a small side note, positive about the Space Marine book.
Yes.
It's not the
I love it.
strongest. It's not going to be stronger than Eldari necessarily.
No.
But that's a good thing.
Yes.
And everyone should strive to be like Space Marines. Sorry, Tyranids. You're
I think
48.
it's a good meter stick.
It's cool. With that, we can take any questions. We might have any leftovers from the stream. And other than that, we're going to be closing out soon. So if you have questions, send them in now.
Yeah, we have our first super chat from Matthew Powell, our dear friend. Hey, Titans. Today I tracked down $300 of AOS I bought. Gosh. How did you lose it? Turned out it was shipped to the wrong address.
I'll do it.
The local vet was very confused by all the Seraphim they got. Had a fun chat about Warhammer with them.
Yeah.
I think a vet would love getting boxes and boxes of little plastic lizards.
Right? They're like, is this some kind of joke? They started building them.
This is a really weird prank. I don't understand it yet,
You
but
got me. And they're like building them. Oh man, those kids, they really got me this time. Building all these little lizards. They're not even alive. Nobody needs help when you're not alive. I'm glad you're able to find them. $300 is no joke. Especially in like New Zealand, like that product took a journey to get to you. Yeah. Actually, $300 of stuff in New Zealand is probably like
It's one box.
it's
one box.
It's a starter box.
Yeah.
You got the starter box. And $200 of that was shipping.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure. Thanks, Matthew, as always. Hopefully
Thank you, Matthew. And I have to read a funny thing from chat that made me giggle. From email, how is everyone staying so calm when Edgar Allan Poe is not only alive, but wearing khakis and talking about Warhammer?
That's me?
Yeah.
I get to be Edgar Allan Poe?
Yeah.
good look.
Made me
Nice.
giggle.
I take it.
I'm into it.
That's a dub.
Time to re-roll. Time to regrow the mustache.
Yeah.
Oh, he did. He had a fabulous mustache.
Fabulous.
I can't have a Poe mustache.
Well, I feel like you don't know because you didn't grow it out.
I really can't.
I think you could.
I
Yeah.
think my heart would stop.
Yeah.
I would just fall over dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. At some point, I would
Fair.
look in a mirror and go, oh,
I think you might end up more like Pablo Escobar than Poe. Now I think about it.
I love it, but that's all we have today.
oh, cool.
Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for joining us. We've been enjoying kind of trying to keep the good talks nice and focused. There's always things happening in the world of Warhammer. So rather than doing like a long pre-recorded and edited and chop it up, we just want to take the time to discuss it with y'all. Of course, we have lots of stuff coming up soon. Saturday we have the Tau, which we just painted on our Twitch.
Ooh.
Check it out.
Yeah.
Against Brian Leva and his Eldar. It's going to be awesome. And then Sunday, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, join John and Bridger as they play Marvel Crisis Protocol over on our Twitch.
Yep.
Twitch.tv/Tabletop Titans.
That's it. That's the one.
Nailed it. It's been love chatting with everybody. We'll get you next time on the Tabletop.
Bye.